Okay, good evening, everybody. Um, so far we've discussed about the basics of Excel environment, and last week we talked about referencing as well. I'm very sure that most of you must have watched the video for those that didn't attend last week, so that you would at least catch up with us. So this week we'll be going into Excel functions. We'll be starting from the easy functions, the easiest ones. Then we'll go into nested ifs, sum ifs, count ifs, and VLOOKUP and more. So for now, we'll start with the basic functions that you must know in Excel. These functions are very basic, but they are very important in in your Excel knowledge. You would need them all the time, almost every time. So these are basic Excel functions, but one of the most important functions that you should know if you are good in Excel or if you are a professional. So I'm going to start with these ones. I'm going to use the same Excel sheets we used last week to show you the examples. So first we have the sum function. Basically is to add up a range of numbers. So like I said, if you're writing any formula, you start with equal to, like we have here, equal to sum, and then the range that you want to add up. The same goes to average, right? Equal to average, and then the same thing for maximum, minimum, counts, count A, count blank. We're going to do flash fill, concatenate, and if. So so max is basically finding the largest number, minimum the smallest. Count is when you're counting the numbers in a cell. I'm going to explain this when I start doing the examples. And let me just go straight to it. So these are the functions that I'm hoping to cover today. Okay. So I'll start with let me start with the count A and count blank. So basically count is simply counting of numbers. It will help you count the numbers in a cell. Okay, the numbers that are contained in the range of numbers, it helps you to count them. That's what the count does. Then the count A counts both numbers and letters in a cell. So if there are letters in a cell and you use count for it, it will not count those letters. But count A can count both letters and numbers. Count A simply means count all. So it's counting all, basically, both the numbers and letters. While count only counts numbers. And we have count blank, counts the blank spaces. So let me just quickly show you an example of that. Okay, let's say, for example, we want to count. First, before I do this, I want to freeze these two. I taught you how to freeze for my last class, so I'm going to do the same now. I want to freeze these two rows so that I can scroll down. So I'm going to freeze it. So I've freezed these two and I've freezed this. So even if I scroll down to continue to, these two rows will be freezed. So I want to use, we can use this cost of goods. Can use any of these columns. So here we're going to do our count function equal to. So count is basically just counting the number of rows for you. Count. Once you are typing it there, Excel will even show it to you. So you just double click on it. And then you can see Excel is telling you to select the range of values you want to count. So I want to select from this cost of goods from the beginning to the end of this cost of goods value. Then you close your brackets and press enter. So it has counted it now. Basically, it's 49 rows. Okay, 49 rows. So that's how the count works. Count just counts the number of cells for you. And also this place here where you have ready, this ready here, this line is called the status bar. Status bar shows you whatever status you have highlighted on your Excel. You can see here I have average, I have count 49, which is basically what we just did. And then I have sum. Yes, so the status bar shows you any operation you are doing there, it will show you here. So under the status bar, you can even edit your status bar. If you put your cursor there, you just right click on it, you see all of this. So if you don't want sum to be showing there, you can click on this and it will stop showing sum. But I want sum to show. If you want the minimum to show, you can click on it. Maximum, you can click. So when you highlight a cell, it shows you there on the status bar. So at least now we are sure that 49 is correct. So imagine if you are counting, okay, let me count this product here, this product row. Let me use the same count formula and say equal to count in brackets. What is this? Okay, in brackets, then I'll highlight this from YAM to this first one. Okay, then close your bracket, press enter. You can see the answer is 0. Why is it 0? Because I used the count function. Count does not count letters, it only counts numbers. You understand? So that's why it's able to count this one for me, but it cannot count this. So I can't use the count function if I want to count the number of rows where there are letters written on that column. I can't use the count function. I can only use count A, which is count all. So I'm going to put my cursor here on this 0, come up here where you have your formula, change this count and put A in front, meaning you are changing it to count A, and press enter. You can see it gave me the answer 49. So count A can count letters, while count function can count numbers. Count A can count all of them, even letters and numbers. So if you have a column where you have letters and numbers, you use count A. Then if you have a column where you have only numbers, use the count function. Then we have count blank. That one is, it only counts the blank spaces for you. So if here, or let me remove two of this 3000, let me delete it. Okay, and I want to count the blank spaces. Now this is just a file that you can just scroll up and down. You can be working with a very huge file and you will not be able to be scrolling up and down like that. So all of these functions, all these formulas are very important. So if you have blank spaces in between your columns, you can now use the count blank to count the number of blank spaces. So you say equal to count blank, have count blank here, you can just double click on it. And then let's select the range of values we want. Let's say we want to count all the blank spaces under cost of goods. Then close the brackets, press enter. So you can see it counted 2 spaces for me, which are the 2 spaces I deleted. Understand? So it's only counting the blank spaces. I can't remember the numbers I wrote there. I think it's 3000, 2000. So I'm going to write it back. So you can see there's no more blank space. That's why it's giving me 0 here. So we have count A, which is count all, and count blank. The count is used to count the numbers in a cell. The count A is used to count both numbers and letters in a cell. And then the count blank is used to count the blank spaces in a cell. Any question? Any question?
None from me, ma.
Okay, so let's continue. Thank you very much. So we're going to minimum and maximum. So like the name implies, is basically finding the minimum value in a cell, in a range of cells, and the maximum value in a range of cells. We're going to do range, we're going to do average, median, mode, and all that. Okay, so let's do for minimum and maximum. We're going to use the same file. Okay, so let's say, for example, want to find the maximum revenue value here, and that is column K, and the minimum revenue value. So we're going to say equal to, okay, just start with max, and you see it there. Just double click on maximum, and then highlight the range of cells that you want. Close that bracket, press enter. So it's giving you the maximum to be 6,420. So from here, you already know, okay, the maximum revenue value is 6,420 without searching for it one by one. So you already know the maximum revenue value. So that's what maximum is. Then we have minimum, which you find the smallest number for us. Let me write it here. Let me be writing the. So this one is count A. This is count function. This is count line. Okay. And this one is maximum. So let's find the minimum. So the minimum is equal to, just type minimum and then double click on it here. So you just highlight the cells. Now, let's say, for example, you are working with a very huge file where you cannot just continue scrolling through a range of cells. We're going to do something. Just put your cursor on the first number, and I think we can now say, you put your hand on, press on Control Shift, then down button. So Control Shift down on your keyboard will highlight the cells from the beginning to the end of where you want it to stop. Understand? So I'm going to do it again. So once you say equal to your formula, you want to highlight a range of cells. But what if you are working with a large range of cells where you cannot just continue scrolling down? Sometimes you work with large data. If you are an accountant, or you are working in a firm, or you are a data analyst, we're dealing with data that are like 5,000, 10,000, like, you understand. So you can't continue to be scrolling down such large data. So what you do is that you select the first cell, and then put your hand on Control, put your hand on Shift at the same time, then put your hand on the arrow down button on your keyboard, and then Excel will highlight it down to the last number for you. You close that bracket and press enter. So it gives you the minimum value. Somebody is saying, oh, okay, sorry. Okay. Yeah, it gives you the minimum value. So the minimum value on this column is 1,070. That's how to find that. Then range is basically maximum minus minimum. That's range. Excel does not have a formula for range, so you have to find the maximum and the minimum, subtract it, and then find, that's the range. So because Excel does not have a formula for range, so I'm going to do the range here. Say equal to this cell, which is maximum, minus this cell, which is minimum. So this is the range. So that's the range. Okay. So we're done with these three. So next is minimum stroke average. So the formula for average is same formula for, sorry, next is mean stroke average. So the formula for average is the same as the formula for mean in Excel. It's the same formula. So there's no special formula for mean. Same thing. That the same formula, same thing, the same answers will give to you. So I'm going to use the average stroke mean. So I'll write mean stroke average here. So here we have equal to, so let's find the average revenue, equal to average. Just double click on average, and then you can highlight the cell down, put your hand on Control Shift arrow down, and say close that bracket and press enter. So this is our average revenue. This is our average revenue. You can decide to make it 2 decimal places. You don't want it to be like this, so you can decide to make it 2 decimal places. Okay, so yeah, this is our average and our mean. Anyone is same thing. Next we have median. Excel has a formula for median, so just say equal to, let me write this median. Okay, equal to median. So you just double click on that. Again, you highlight the cell that you want it to find the median for. Close your brackets, press enter. So our median value is 4,280. 4,280. So we have found the mean, which is the same as the average, and the median. So next is the mode. So Excel also has a formula for mode. So there's no need to so median is basically like the middle number in a range of cells. Okay, so let's type mode. I don't know, some system might not have this mode, or I don't even know if my own has, but I hope it has some version. I'm using 2016 version. I hope. And yes, it has. So our mode is same as our median here.
Yes.
It's not supposed to... Hello? Somebody is saying something.
Sorry, I can't see your screen.
Hello? You can't see my screen?
Yes.
Can everybody see my screen, please? Is there anybody that cannot see my screen? Hello, please, somebody should answer, please, so that
Your
we'll know.
your screen has
I
just
can
gone
see
up.
your screen.
I was seeing it before. It has just gone up now.
Okay, Florence,
Okay, just showed now. That it's just
is it
now that
showing
it's
now?
showing.
I can see your cursor. Yeah, but
You can only
I
see
think
your
I can see your
cursor.
cursor moving now. Okay.
It means many parts.
Okay, you can see it now.
Yes. I can see it now.
So, okay, so which part did you miss?
Like a lot
Is it Najib? Najib, are you the one talking?
is bright. Okay.
Najib, maybe it's your network, because others can see it. Okay. So I was talking about the mode. The mode means the most common number that appears in a set of data. So the mode is the most common number. So basically, this is the most common number, and it happens to be the same number with the mean, but it's different formulas. So why is this thing showing? So it's different formulas. It's not the same thing. This median is basically the middle number, and then this mode is the most common number. It can be the same, but it's different formulas, and it can be different. Doesn't matter. But these three values are usually they are close together. So when you are doing in data analysis, when you are doing statistics, and you are looking for missing cells in a data set, usually this is what we use to find missing cells. We use the mean, the median, or the mode to find missing values in a data set. You can use any of them to find this. That's why you can see they are all close to each other, around 4,000. So if you want to use the average, you can use the average. If you want to use the median, you can use it. If you want to use the mode, you can use the mode, depending on the values of the other cells. So it must be between these three, any one of these. So it's these three formulas are very important. If, for example, they give you a data set and you notice that there are missing values in that data set, and they tell you that, oh, they are missing, or find a way around it. So you use these three statistical data to find the missing values. So they are very important in Excel, okay, and analyzing data. So next we go to, so we're done with this. Do you have any question? Fine. Any question?
I think I have a question.
Okay, please go ahead.
Okay, you
Go
talked
ahead,
about this
Joshua.
the main, median, and mode, how that we can use it to find our missing values. Is it that
Yes.
once we enter the formula for this main, median, mode, will it give us the sorry, I'm on the road. Will it give us the missing values, or from the answer we get, we just formulate, or we
Yeah,
just
you just
you know
formulate it. You
write
just
it?
formulate it. Yes. You
Okay,
formulate it
okay,
based on any of these three. So you choose one of them.
okay.
That's yes.
Thanks so
So
much.
no problem. So yeah, in data analysis, or if you're analyzing data and you happen to find missing values, you can use these three to formulate what will be there. So any other question? But there are some values that, if the missing values are too many, if it's above 50%, you would need to tell the whoever is giving you that data to analyze, tell the person that the missing values are too many. You cannot formulate for that one. You only use this missing value. So any other question, please? Okay, let's go to sum. So basically, sum is addition of a range of values. Okay, everybody already knows sum. Some people use this auto sum, okay, to calculate that. Everybody knows how to use sum. I'm going to, not everybody, or maybe some people don't. I'm going to show you here how to use sum. I'm going to use a particular cell. Let me see if I can use this. So here we have sum. So basically it's equal to, you type sum, and then you see your sum already showing here. Just double click on it, and then you highlight the range of cells that you want it to add. Okay, you highlight the range of cells. You can highlight this one manually, or you do the trick I told you about. What is this always coming up? Sorry about that. You can either highlight it like this, or you just click on the first one, then put your hand on control, put your hand on shift, and then arrow down. So Excel will help you highlight it down to the last. Then you close that bracket and press enter. So it gives you the sum of this sales price. So this is the sum of the sales price column. Okay, this is the sum of the sales price column. So you can also use this auto sum up here. You can use it. I put my cursor here and I say auto sum. So Excel will automatically highlight it up there for you. So you can also use that as well. Okay. Press enter to give you the same answer. But this is the function for sum. You should know how to use it manually also. Don't depend on this one alone. know how to write it out. So it's basically equal to sum, then you highlight the cells that you want to add up. So here is I3 colon I51. So the first cell here is I3 and the last one is I51. So that's what we are highlighting there. Okay, so that's the sum. The reason why it's good to know how to use all this is that you could be working in this inserts or page layout. You could be working in any other menu bar, not the home menu bar. And so you don't need to be going back to home just because you want to use auto sum. You can just use your formula from wherever you are working from. You can just use your sum function. So it's good to know how to use functions as well. So next is average. It's basically the same thing, almost the same, just gives the answer for average. So I'm going to write average here and say equal to average, and just double click on this. So we've done the mean. So the mean is the same thing with the average. It's basically the same thing. There's no need for me to even repeat it, but since I'm already doing, let me just do that. Hello, please, can you mute your... So this is the mean. Can reduce this. This is the average. The average is same as the mean. Please, can you mute your audio? This person, like, the audio is disturbing us. Jesus. Hello, Najib, can you mute your audio? Your audio. Please mute it. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Okay, so next is if function. Okay, before we go into if function, I want to teach you these two functions, concatenate and flash fill. Okay, the concatenate function is used to combine two or more text strings together. So if you want to combine, if you have hello world, you have hello on one column and you have world on another column. If you want to combine it into a single column, hello world, you use the concatenate function to do that. Whose phone is this? Let's see. Okay, so the concatenate function is used to combine two text strings together, and then we have the flash fill. The flash fill is used to fill cells automatically. So we can use this flash fill to separate two text strings, and then we can use the concatenate function to combine them. Okay, we can use the flash fill to separate them. Flash fill is basically used to fill a pattern of cell the way you want it to be filled. But concatenate is used to combine values. What if we want to separate values? We don't want to combine them. We'll use that flash fill to do that. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to use this file. So I have a file here for students, gender. We have the score of the students. So I want to separate this file now. I'm going to separate it and I'm going to add it. So first I'm going to insert a column in between. I'm going to insert another column in between. So here, let me insert this. So here, let's say I want to have a last name. I want to have, let me say last name. And then here I want to have first name. Please, can you mute your audio? Is disturbing?
Najib Wada needs to mute his audio. Najib Wada, you need to mute your audio. Okay, better.
Thank you. Okay, so let's say we want to separate this now. We don't want the first name and the last name to be together. I want to separate it into last name and first name. So we use something called flash fill. Okay, flash fill. And that flash fill, the shortcut for it is Control E. I'm going to come back here and write it. Control E. It's called flash fill. So that's the shortcut for that one. Let's go back. So here now, I want to copy the last name. I want Excel to copy the last name from this column into this one. What I'm going to do is, first, I'm going to type in the last names. Like I said, Excel used to understand a pattern of what you are doing. For it to understand this pattern, you must copy at least 2 to 3 last names first. If you just copy one, to not understand what you are doing. But when you copy at least 2 to 3 last names, you type in 2 to 3 last, you can see it's already giving me the rest. So once I just type Control E, Excel will give me the rest. So let me complete this name, Okonkwo, and put it there and say Control E. So Control E now, Excel has given me all the last names. You can see Ngozi Eze, Obinna Nwachukwu. It's giving me only Nwachukwu, which are the last names. So once I typed in this Bernard and Okonkwo, all I had to do was to press Control E. There's flash fill here as well. Let me look for it. I think it's under should be here somewhere. Flash fill. Just a second, please. Flash fill, flash fill. Should be here somewhere. Okay, look at it here. It's under data. Under the data menu bar, you can see flash fill here. So you can either go to data and click on this, or you just say Control E and it will just highlight all the last names for you. That's after you have written the first two, before Excel will understand what you are doing. Then let's do the first name now. Let's see. So the first name here is David. Okay. The second person is Chukwudi. So we're going to type. You can see, if you can see my screen very well, Excel is already giving me a hint of, okay, these are the first names. I'm going to complete that name, Chukwudi. And then I either say Control E, I just press this one, and then it will give me the first names of this column. Okay. So this is how to separate texts from and separate them into different columns. But you have to make sure the text has a pattern, or it has to have a pattern. It's not like you want to separate one long text and there's no pattern with the next cell. So you can see this David Bernard now, his first name, last name, Chukwudi Okonkwo, first name, last name, Ngozi Eze, first name. So it has to have like a pattern so that Excel will be able to understand what you are doing. Otherwise, Excel will not get it. So since Excel can understand this, is because the pattern is very clear. So that we want to type in the last name and then the first name. So any question? So because Excel now is looking at this like a text. It's looking at, okay, David is the first text, Bernard second text, Chukwudi first text, Okonkwo second text, Ngozi first text. It doesn't understand whether name or no name. You are the one that would impute last name, first name. So when you now start writing it out, Excel will understand, okay, the pattern of the text. So it knows that, okay, this is the second text that I'm writing here. This is the second text I'm writing here. So it will automatically copy down all the second texts for me. The same thing with the first text. So that's how Excel understands it. So if you have any question, you can ask. Otherwise, we can continue to concatenate function. So let's say I want to combine this name. I want to now combine these names. For example, I was given the file with last name, first name. But me, I don't want these two to be separated. I want it together. So I'll now use the concatenate function to combine text from different cells together. So I'm going to say equal to, once you type concat, to just show you here, concatenate, just double click on it. And then Excel starts telling you what you want to add. So first I want to combine this one, okay, Bernard, comma, I want to now combine David as well. Then close that bracket and say enter. Now when you say enter, Excel has combined it for you, Bernard, David. But you can see there's no space between Bernard and David. How do you create the space? Okay, that's combined it for you, but you want to create a space between Bernard and David. So how you do the trick in doing that, the trick there is that you put your cursor between B2 and C2. You can see my formula there. Create a space, okay, and then put in the what's this from this sign called quotes. This quotes, put in quotes, then give space, put in another quote, okay, and give space. Now, what you are telling Excel is that the space between these quotes is the space that is going to be between Bernard and David. The space you put between this quote sign, these two quote sign, is the space you are going to put between Bernard and David. If I put any sign there in between that quotation sign, it means that that sign will be appearing in between Bernard and David. If I press enter now, oh, okay. So if I close this space here is showing that there's a space between, I'm going to put a space, Excel will put a space between Bernard and David. What's the issue? Okay, let's do it again. Sorry, I don't know what the problem is. So let's say B2 what's the issue? Okay. Just a second, let me see. Then there's C2. Let me start again. I don't know what the issue is. So concatenate. So we click on this Bernard, comma. Then we put our quotes and a space. And then, okay, I think there should be a comma here. Then David. Then close it. Okay. So the mistake was after the quotation sign, after the quote, the two quotes, you have to put a comma before you put the second name. So now this quote, now the space you have put in between these quotes is the space between Bernard and David, this space in the middle. If I put anything there in between that, let me say I put this now. You can see now what is between Bernard and David is that sign, that slant sign. So, but I don't want the slant sign, I want a space. Okay, I want a space. So I'm going to delete that sign and then press my space bar. That space bar will create a space between B2 and C2. So Bernard and David will automatically have a space between them. So the same thing, once I highlight this down, it will automatically do the rest for me. So that's how the concatenate function works. So you select the first text that you want to combine, then you put comma, and then you put your quote sign and put a space in between your quotation sign. Then you put your comma before selecting David. So that's how it works. Is there any question up to this point, or do you want me to repeat it? Any question, Florence, Sandra, Najib? I don't know how to pronounce Amilang. Is that your name? I don't know how to pronounce it.
I think I'm okay over here.
Okay, thank you. Sandra, are you with me? Okay. Okay, so now once you've gotten to this point now, you want to delete these two, of course, because the reason why you'll be doing this is because you don't want these two to be there. I'm trying to teach you guys based on like real life example. If for example now you are given a file that you don't want to use you don't want the last name and the first name to be separated. Okay, you want them to be together like this. So once you are done using the concatenate function to combine this Bernard and David, you would want to do away with this because you don't need it, and to make your file slow. So since you have combined it, you don't need it. So, but if you delete these two now, if you delete these two out of this place, this one will be affected. Do you know why? Because this one is dependent on these two. So the easy way to do it is just to copy it and paste in another cell. Just say Control C, copy this one, Control V, paste it here. How is it giving two names? Control V. Okay, just copy it and paste it here. There's something wrong. It's giving me double names. How is it giving me paste option? Paste values. This is for my own system. Oh, don't be, if you do it in your system to work. So what you have to do is just to copy these values, this range of values, copy it and paste it in another column. Let me copy it this way. Why is it giving? Why is my own system? Okay, I've done it here. Anyway, this one is giving me, so I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete this one. Okay, what you do is, I think the copying will still be dependent on these two. So we're going to use the flash fill method. So imagine you have these two files given to you and you have combined them here. So now you want to delete these two. But if you delete these two, this one will be affected. This file D will be affected because it's dependent on these two. So we're going to use the flash fill to copy this one here in this cell. So we're going to say equal to, sorry, we're going to say, you just type it in, just type Bernard, David, type in the next name, Okonkwo. Please, you have to type it out though. If you don't type it out, if you are copying, don't copy and paste though, just type it out. Chikudi. So from there, you can just say Control E, and then Excel will give you everything here. Excel will give you everything here. Now this one is no longer dependent on this concatenates. You can see here now, all this concatenate. If I want to delete this now, it will affect it. If I delete this now, you can see that's affected it. Look at it now. It's saying reference, 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 meaning there's a column that I'm referencing that I've deleted. I've deleted a column that this column is referencing from. So if I say Control Z, which means to undo, you can see the last name is back. You can see this one is back now. This one that has the concatenate function is back. So if I delete this, to be showing reference, if I delete this first name as well, because I don't need it anymore, to be showing reference. So, but because I've done the flash fill here, this one now is not affected. This is a clean file. Now, all these things I'm doing is I'm assuming that this one is not there. Oh. I'm just assuming this is not there at all. Just assume it's not there. And you were giving last name and first name. So you want to combine them and then use them for what you want to do. So once you have combined them, you want to delete the columns. So what you do is that use flash fill to copy out that combined names, and then you now delete all the others. So I can now delete this one. I still have my flash fill. I already have this one. So this one now is standing on its own. It's no longer dependent on any other column. Okay. So any questions so far? I think this is basically what I want us to cover. We have covered, so I've covered a lot. So I'm going to delete this as well because I don't need it. I just used it to teach. So any questions so far? Let me see what's next I need to cover. So we have done this. I've done concatenate and flash fill. So next is if. Next is if. Should we go into that? Are you guys following me? Okay. So let's go into the if function. I'm going to insert a column here in between math score and reading score. So here I'm going to write grade. This will be the grade. Grading for math validation restriction. Okay, cancel. Sorry, there's a validation restriction here. I'm going to remove it. Sorry. Don't worry about that. I'll people down. Clear validation. Validation settings. Action context. Okay. So clear all. Okay. Okay, so grade. Control copy. Control V. Control V. Okay, so we're going into the if function. I'm just going to treat the if function. The next time when we come, we'll do nested if, we'll do sum if, count if, average if, and all that. But before we do that, please, I want to know if you guys are following me before I start the if function.
I am following.
Okay. Let me see how many people are even there now. The only okay, so let's start with the if function. Before we even before I use this file, which is very large, I'll use a small file, just something simple for you guys so that you see. So let's say score, just going to write, let's say 80 and 50. Okay. So what if I want to say, okay, if the if function is a conditional statement that returns a value if it is true and another value if it is false. So this is like a conditional statement. if this is equal to this, return this, or else return that. So that's what it means. So it's basically telling the statement basically saying if whatever value you want is equal to this answer, let it return this. Otherwise, let it return something else. So it's saying that if the value is true, return it. Otherwise, if it's false, return another value. So that's what the if function is saying. What if in a school, I want to say if the score is 80, if the score is greater or equal to 80, return pass, otherwise fail. So any score that is less than 80 has failed though. That's what that statement is saying. This is just an example. So I'm going to do the if statement by the side here. Equal to, if, you can see the if here, just double click on it. It's a logical test. So always your first logical test is the first value that you want to use that if statement for. And our first value is 80. So is if 80, okay, is greater or equal to, here they say if value is true. Let's say if 80 is greater, sorry, just a second, please. Okay. Yeah. So let's say if 80, sorry, just a second. Okay. So we say if equal to if double click. So this is D3. If D3 is equal to, is greater or equal to 80, comma, then let's say the student has passed. Now, the value that you are writing, that pass there, has to be in quotation mark. It has to be in quotes. You have to put it in quotes. You type pass and then close that quote. So that is the value if it's true. You can see now my formula, this value if true is in capital letter. Is bold. You can see it's bold because that's where I am now. So if I say comma, press enter. So now it's saying now that this person that scored 80 has passed. So even if I write 90 here now, for example, and I put it here and highlight it down, you can see it's saying 80 because I said 80 or above. So 80 has passed, 50 has failed, 30 failed, 60 failed. This is just an example, and 90 pass. So this is basically what the if function does. It's a conditional statement. So you can see now, you can use this if function very well when you are analyzing a large data. So if in this formula now, if your answer that is returning is a number and is not a letter like pass and fail, you don't need to put it in quote. Oh, I think that quote is only for values. I've not tried it, but you can try it out. I don't think you need to put number in quotes. If in case you are doing any if function and maybe if it's true, the value that is returning is a number, you just say comma, write the number, comma, write the number. That's okay. I don't think you need to put it in quotes. The quote is usually if you're writing in letters. So don't forget to put the quote, and this comma here is very important. Don't forget to put it as well. Even when you type in the formula, you even see it. You see Excel, you see the comma there, you see the comma. So that's how the if works. Now there's something called nested if. Nested if is like, how do I even explain this? The way, the word nested is when you are combining two or more formulas inside each other. Two or more formulas inside each other. So there's nested if. We're going to be using multiple ifs in one same formula. And then at the end of the day, we'll now close the brackets for all the ifs that we have nested together. So that's what the nested if does. So what if, for example, now you have it's not just pass and fail that you want. Maybe you want this student to get A, or you want this student to get B, you want this student to get C. Now you have multiple results, not just pass and fail, not just two. You want multiple results. So that's when you now use the nested if. Okay. You can either use some people's system. If you are using a higher system, you use the ifs. But me, I'm going to use the nested if. I would advise you to just learn the nested if. Honestly, once you know how to use the nested if, the ifs will be very simple for you. It's basically the same thing. The difference is just small. So this nested if, I'm going to be using this nested if here. So you see, if logical test, comma, if your answer is true, it will return it. Then you say comma. You now put in another if statement again. For example, if student's score is 8 greater or less than 80, let it return A, comma. If student's score is greater or less than 60, let it return B, comma. If student's score is greater or less than 50, let it return C, comma. Like that, until you get to F. Then you now just, when you get to the last one, just say comma F in your quote. So this is what the nested if does when you have multiple results and not just two results. So this will be in our next class. I don't want to bombard your head too much with, if not, too much confusion will happen this night. So I'll just stop here. I've explained the nested if. Tomorrow, by the grace of God, we'll now go into nested if, sum if, average if, and all this. We try to do this, and we're moving very fast. We're actually moving fast. Okay, so yeah, this will be the end of my class for today. If you have any question, please, you can throw your questions. If there's anyone you missed that you want to join, that you want to ask about, please go ahead. Only two people. Where's everybody in my class now? They left. Network. Only Florence. Florence, your network must be very good, oh.
Yeah, my network is strong.
Yeah, I noticed. You have a very good network.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. Mariam, you're welcome. Oh.
Sorry I'm late, so I'm so sorry.
No problem, no problem. The class is recorded.
Yeah, I'll catch up on
So,
it later today or tomorrow.
all right.
Mm.
All right. Okay, so I'm done with the class. So you guys can go and practice what we've done today. Tomorrow we'll go into more functions. So good night,
Okay.
everyone.
Thank you very much.
All
All
right,
right, thank
you're
you. Good night.
welcome. All right,
All right.
good night.